10 steps ahead of you, but just waiting.
Nice.
There it goes.
Thank you so much, Lazo Kamati. You want to start us off with the disclaimer there, Noinitsin?
Of course. Um, a general disclaimer. First and foremost, we're trying to learn some information and knowledge that is beyond that of what the invaders or the Eurocentric mind can perceive. And so this disclaimer pretty much is to let you know when we come into this type of knowledge, we must also come in with an open mind because there's going to be information in here that is has been demonized, has been made to sound disgusting, has been made to sound out of this world or not natural, and so we must be able to step outside of that bubble and make sure that when we come into these classes that we come in with that open mind because there's going to be a lot of information that is going to be shared and we must absorb it, right? And it comes with information that we've been told that is gross or out of this world or barbaric, but it's the opposite of that. And so this is a short, sweet version of the disclaimer.
Lazo Kamati, Noinitsin. Any questions before we start?
We're
None,
pumped.
okay.
We're ready. We're excited.
Nice. This is going to be a really nice, full of knowledge session class. You want to start us off with these words in Nahuatl, Noinitsin Nemo?
What, dude?
Yes, of course. Inetnemis nipatlanis ika opa ni monemitis pan mictlan. The translation is I will walk, I will fly, I will live twice in the place of rest. And down here at the bottom it says Onka patli ipan mictlan. There is medicine in the place of rest. Also, nokolwanika miyek mawisol nachmech tlachtlaniliya tlametilistli chikawalistli yoltlatlanilistli iwan ishpetlanilistli. And this is pretty much a little prayer to the ancestors saying, with much respect, I ask for wisdom, strength, hope, and illumination in my connection with the dream realm. And so very, very deep. Let's start off with the title, right? I will walk, I will fly, I will live twice in the place of rest. What essentially we're trying to get at, or not we, but essentially what the message is trying to get us to understand is that your second life begins after the physical realm. And like Brother Six Son was saying, that there must be some trials and tribulations. There are 9 transitions, as he was saying, and it must be accomplished within 4 years physical time frame. And so that's why they tell us that we have up to 4 years of the recent passing of somebody that was close to us to communicate with them before they transition into that next phase. And so anyways,
But I have experience where I've connected with some that have passed away longer than that time. Just to put it out there. So I don't know if that 4 years. I don't know if they're doing something special in connecting after the 4 years, but I have actually been fortunate to connect with some relatives that have passed away.
And so the story goes that when you get to Mictlan, the first thing you must do is start moving, right? You need to find your path. You need to find your what are they called? The pets that are there to guide you. I forgot the term for it, but you're essentially going to be guided by an animal of some form, whether it's your
You know what?
Yeah, I think it's
You know what? I think your spirit animal.
and so it's there to help you guide, right? And because the ancestors know the place of rest to be a watery place, it's kind of like sometimes you're flying, right? Because in water you can literally swim, and if you have a camera at the base of a swimming pool, it looks like you're flying while you're traversing across that pool, right? And so um and also in the sense of I will fly, taking yourself um taking yourself out of that physical realm and living in this Mictlan is going to be a different experience because um I did say it earlier, it's a place of water, it's like a watery land. And so but yes, Brother Tlani or Tekpat, would you like to add anything?
We can listen to Brother Tony first.
Or Sister Pilar first, sorry.
Sister Noinitzin Pilar, please go ahead.
Yes.
And then please Noinitzin Tekpat, if you like to go.
I think as far as like the phrases go, when I think about I will live twice in the place of rest, it really speaks to the ability that we have to not only dedicate time in our present life towards our objectives, but also, our time that we spend asleep. Like, como decir, you don't want to waste the time that you have because you do have the two lives, And so when we are asleep, we can also direct ourselves into putting forward our objectives. And as far as like personally, it's like connecting to my ancestors and learning from them, just asking for advice. And, before when I would dream, I mean, it was just mostly like, stuff would happen to me and I wouldn't know why or what it mattered, or I wouldn't care to think about it the next day. And now I know that, what happens in the sleep time matters in the wake time and vice versa, And so living twice, but you want to live, presently in both. You want to be connected in both. And there is medicine in the place of rest. I think that for me, what that phrase tells me, and from experience that I know, is that when I sleep, when I rest, when I go to Mikvan in my sleep, I know that I can do anything there, and that includes like healing from things that are more difficult to heal in this realm. Personally, I've healed pain that I had from loved ones that have passed. I've healed addictions while I've been asleep, and that carries over into the awake life. I'm sure there are many diseases that are not just mental that you could heal probably asleep as well, but I don't have experience in that. Ancestors, with much respect, I ask for wisdom, strength, hope, and illumination. I haven't learned that phrase. I mean, I've tried to use it, but I haven't memorized the whole phrase yet. And I have been trying to connect with my relatives using the lesson but I don't have a lot of experience with it yet. I think that it's still something that I need to dedicate more time towards. It's been pretty difficult for me when it comes to directing myself when I'm asleep. And so I try and I write down what I dream about, and I realize throughout the day, what the dream was about, or maybe what it was telling me. I keep it in my mind so that I can remember it. It's a work in progress. I haven't learned anything like super amazing or whatever, but I mean, I like being able to talk to my family. I like having that connection, and it's been working. I mean, my dreams have helped me process things that would have probably led me down like a meltdown before I was capable of processing and understanding and emotionally regulating stuff that was happening to me, and not thinking into the doom cycle that is anxiety induced because of the way that I was raised. And my life is a lot more peaceful now. And yeah, I think that's all I have to share right now. Thank you.
Lots of kamati no anything take part.
So with Mikiztli, it's a sacred energy that reminds us that yes, we essentially we live in two worlds at this time, right? The living, right, the physical world that we live during the day, and then we have what Temachtilistli calls like little deaths, right, when we go to sleep, because we travel to Mictlan or Mictlampa. And we get to kind of enjoy the experiences, the knowledge, and the information that that come our way when we make those travels. That's why we have certain sayings like, Timoitaske Mictlampa, we'll see each other in the land of the dreams, because things are possible there, right? You can communicate with others, you can receive messages and information. We might not always know how to dissect the information that we're provided, right, at the given time, but with time and practice, we become more knowledgeable, right? We understand the different realms that we live in or coexist in. And so I think, I'm in agreement with Sister Pilar with you have to live the fullest, right? In both versions of life, right? The sleep realm, and then, the physical one that we're currently residing in right now, like conversing, right? We need to supersede challenges. We need to rise up and not set boundaries and limit ourselves, right? The goal is to leave this plane of existence when our time comes and have little to no regrets, right? To know that we did the most that we wanted to accomplish, right? And then be excited for what's to come. And then, yeah, with there is medicine in the place of rest. There's a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of wisdom that lies in Mictlampa, in that dream realm. A lot of it maybe we don't understand at this point in time, right? But those are like goals that we try to achieve, become more knowledgeable, more open-minded, so that we can receive those messages the way that they're given. Yeah, I mean, I think anything's really possible, right? You can heal yourself. You can accomplish tasks in that realm or that world of existence, and then hopefully translate it into the physical. And then the last part, I haven't memorized it either, just like Sister Perletta has mentioned, but without knowing, I did use like a version of it. I just when I go outside and I try to connect, I try to, just ask my ancestors to guide me, to like, help me, to provide any information, right, that I can use to just become more grounded and be more knowledgeable, because I am trying to further connect, right? I am trying to understand the world around me a little bit better. So I use a pretty simple one where I just kind of ask my ancestors for, that love and that guidance, and to strengthen that connection that we have. And, and also apologize for, not really knowing some things, right? Not maybe showing that appreciation at a given time when they were actually living, right? For a lot of them, they left and things changed. So that's something I'm working on, is trying to strengthen that connection, that bond with my deceased relatives and ancestors. I just find this topic really interesting. It's something that really resonates with me strongly. And it's just an area that I really do want to strengthen and develop. That's really all I have to add at the moment too. So Brother Atlani, if you'd like to share.
Anyone. So to me, this is quite interesting. I think that we have to start by addressing the fact that death had a completely different meaning to our ancestors in the Anawak. They basically found death to be a place of rest, right? And a transitional place. Miklampa is basically that, is a place of rest. It's a place where we go to every day, most of the time, right? When you go to sleep, you're basically going to Miklampa, you're going to the place of rest. It's the little death, is basically what they perceived it as. You're no longer in this realm, but you are actually transitioning into a ethereal realm that is full of possibilities, full of different options, and is basically a different life, right? Similar to this one, in some cases, more real. It feels more real at times. It's essentially that we basically, as human beings, have the power to be able to live another life in our dreams, right? That's basically what the Mictlampa is. I think there was a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding as far as what Mictlan was and what it meant to the people. And that is one of those words that was lost in translation, to the point that we had to dig really deep and actually get to the knowledge of the Temachtilistli to be able to understand what he actually meant, right? So that's basically what it means, right? To be able to walk, fly, and live twice. To be able to not only live this life that we're living in this moment, right, in this particular realm, but be aware of the fact that within our dreams, within our sleeping time, there's also another world, and possibly multiple different levels within that world that we can also access. And that's essentially what we're going to be doing. In the previous class, one of the exercises was to be able to write down as many ancestors that we had, that we could recollect and put them into a tree, right? Our family tree. The reason behind that is because we're gonna try and connect with them. That's essentially what this exercise is gonna try and do. The belief is that we can connect with 7 generations of our ancestors. In special circumstances, obviously more than that, but the knowledge holds that is basically 7 generations. So it's I mean, it can go far, but far enough to the point where you can heal generational trauma in some cases, and that's basically what the Onka Patli Ipan Miklan. There is medicine in the place of rest, right? There's medicine in the afterlife, if you want to translate that to our Western way of thinking, right? When you go to sleep, that's death. When you die, that's death. It's basically the same concept, right? So what this is basically translating to is that we can find medicine and healing in our sleep by being able to connect with our ancestors, being able to connect to different energies, entities, if you want to call it that. But that's essentially what the Miklampa is. Uh, the prayer, ancestors with much respect, I ask for wisdom's strength, hope, and illumination. Illumination really translating to being able to connect in the realm of dreams with them, right? Be able to achieve this connection, which is something that is not easy to do. It does take a lot of practice. There's a lot of failing that happens, or you might be a natural, and it may be something that you have already been doing since you were a kid, right? And I think that all of us have heard those stories of people that have had dreams that, ended up becoming truth, or having this weird dream where an accident was going to happen and it did happen, premonitions, and things of that nature. So that is basically what that is. Now, on these images, what we're seeing is on the first image, we'll see how a human person is going into a Mikiztli, right? And what that is translating is to basically that the fact that we're going into our own dreams, into our own death, into our own Mikiztli, to be able to start making this connection. And the little sticks that are above that are basically telling us that we have to do this ceremony in a ceremonial way, and we have to be extremely careful. If you guys notice, there's like a cotton made little ribbon that is holding the sticks there, and that's basically what that stands for, that we have to be careful. So that is essentially what I would say that is one of the things that I took out of this particular um, portion of the class so far, I think. Now, anyone, do we want to move on to the next one?
I did translate the other documents if you guys want to read those. I don't know.
Yeah, please, if you'd like to share them. No, Nathan.
Where do I go? Share.
Or if it's easier, if you like to read them, that might make better sense.
Yeah, I have it here. So this is from my internet. I don't know if you guys hear me.
It's a little choppy.
I don't know if you guys can hear me, but this internet is stretching too much.
Yeah, you're breaking up, no, Nathan, coming in and out.
Because I'm connected. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you, Nanitsin. Can you hear us?
Yeah, but I don't think I can share my screen without my internet going out.
No, that's okay.
So
You don't
I'll
have to
just
share
read it
it
out
if you
loud.
don't like to. Would you like to just read them?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just read it because I can't. The internet just goes out as soon as I try to do something else. So from the document called Los Símbolos del Calendario by Kaya, it says Mikiztli, the orientation is Mictlampa, which is north. The color is white, and the region is Tesistecat. In Anawak cosmovision, death is not something to fear. It is just one more component of our reality that is considered necessary for equilibrium to exist. More so, our ancestors knew that without death, it is impossible for life to exist. Dead bodies feed the earth where the plants grow that feed the deer, which is eaten by humans who, once dead, feed the earth once again, in a cycle that teaches us of constant regeneration. Some traditions speak of this sign more so with the name of transformation than death, because if we observe from a higher point of view, we can see that nothing truly dies. It only takes on new forms again and again. This is a quote, and it starts off by saying, one day my body will give up the struggle and give back to the world this stuff of which I am made. This galaxy of billions of atoms that was once me will die as the stars die, seeding their matter through space. These atoms that came to dance inside of me will go to dance somewhere else. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and they'll go. They will migrate to the wings of a butterfly, the bark of a tree, the landscape of a cloud, or the hair of a flea. And I'll have to finish my song there so that others can sing in their own way. It says Genesis Nerdisani Perino 2004. In this context, we can cite Carlos Castañeda, a writer who tells us that death is a good counselor, a person who is aware that he is going to die and that death can surprise him at any moment in morning traffic, in the middle of a crowd of people, in the form of sudden illness, or even while taking a nap. It's less likely to behave in a petty or indolent manner. Being mindful of the reality of our own mortality every day prevents us from procrastinating on the things that really matter or wasting time on trifle things. You should always act as if your bags are already packed. In Mayan Quiche tradition, the Nahual Queme, which also means death, is associated with ancestors and is said to be a propitious time to ask for their guidance and honor their memory. Of those with the Mikiztli sign, it is said that they are mental people, that they tend to relate to people in high positions. They are people with the capacity of mysticism, and they are not easily deceived because of their developed intuition. The negative side includes a tendency to pessimism, melancholy, and abandonment. And then I have another translation from another document called El Trabajo de las Emociones, the work of the emotions with the 20-day science of the Tonalpohualli by Maria Guadalupe Aguilar Cervantes. And for this excerpt, it says, Mikiztli, transformation, death, cyclicity, rest, transmutation. Death is not the end of everything. It is the closing of a cycle worked on earth. As human beings, we must recognize the capacity we have to be able to organize in a gradual way our objectives, giving them a certain time and to be able to see them walk. To see them walk is to make sense of each objective that we have, to observe in detail the best way to reach them. Because when we start the road to the objective and we reach the peak, we already have no ideas. So we close the cycle of work, of knowledge, of arrival, and we must rest to continue the new things, having in mind the achievement of all these steps, which in the long run will increase our experience. Even when they say that mistakes are made, everything that happens to us is good. Learn from it and go on, improving throughout life. We can transform those mistakes into successes the next time, or we can transmute them into something much better. We must recognize the cyclical way in which we move. This is why it is important to learn from what is being done right now. That's it. I'll take a copy of it and send it in the WhatsApp group so that you guys can see it. Thank you for letting me share.
Claro, Kamati, no anything.
Of course.
No anything, Nemo, you wanna share the next slide?
I'm on it, brother. Patience. It's getting desperate. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just waiting for this thing to go through.
I'm also going to share a slide that has a translation about the regent for this sign. It's going to be in the WhatsApp group.
Okay, you wanna start us off? No anything, Nemo?
Are you able to see it?
Yeah, I think we can see it now. Can everybody see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, there it is. Just popped up on my end. There it is. So these are the tools that we will need. Yeah, well, let's get into it, right? The Copal Tlawiloli, which is candle. The Sepowalsochitl or Cempasúchil flower, right? You're gonna need 4 for the 4 directions. Itzli or obsidian. Copali or copal. And I didn't want to translate that because we'll just leave it with copal. Xicali or jicara in Spanish, or the calabash tree bowl. It's a bowl typically used to serve hot beverages or hot foods, or in this instance to um, well, we'll talk about that right now. The iwitakolot, right, a feather of an owl. It could also be from a turkey. We're back, hopefully. I have no idea what happened.
We can
I thought
hear you
it
now, no anything.
internet again.
Do it this way. So I was talking about the
feather.
Xicali, Xicali, the iwitakolot. It's a feather of an owl. Could also be a turkey or an eagle. If you're having trouble finding any of these, please let us know. I think also the feather of a pigeon might work, but I'm not too sure for that one. And then for protection, you want to use either garlic or tobacco or saliva. And I guess we can get into how it gets done, Brother Tlani.
No anything, Tekpa, do you want to share anything or no anything, Pilar?
The obsidian could also be used as protection. We actually have some thanks to our brother Atlani, we actually have some really nice necklaces that he got us. The copal, yeah, you can actually use it and use it in the jicara or the calabash tree bowl. You can burn some copal in there. You could also yeah, with the tobacco and the garlic. So the garlic, it's just best to kind of rub some of the garlic on you, right? Tobacco, you burn it just like copal, and you kind of use the smoke to cleanse the area, cleanse yourself. And then saliva is very accessible, you know, as long as you're properly hydrated, you can use it for protection. And the reason that we provide the last note on protection is because every time we do these exercises, not just for Mikiztli, but for any of the other sacred energy exercises, it's advised to start off by protecting yourself, right? Because you are exhausting energy. You are, you know, giving energy to the exercises, to the practices, but you also want to make sure that when you are connecting, right, to the spiritual side of life, right, that you're doing it in a safe manner, right? Because we have different types of energies, some stronger than others, and you just want to make sure that you are you're on a good footing, right? You're grounded before you do any of these. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to add, I haven't used all of the tools yet. Personally, I've only used the obsidian, the copal, the jicaras, the feather, and then the protection. So I'm just missing using the actual like candles and cempasúchil flowers. But if you guys could elaborate some more, that'd be great.
No anything, Pilar?
Yeah, so for this particular exercise, from what I remember and from what I did, from what the Masheni told us to do, it's something you want to do at night, preferably in a room by yourself. No open windows, nothing to mess with your space. And you want to have all your stuff ready. You know, you want to be okay. And you want to make sure you open up the space and you open up to the four directions, to yourself, to you know, the all online. I don't remember them right now, but I'm still learning. And once you open up the space, you set up everything, you burn the copal. What I do is I put the garlic underneath my fingernails, and I put saliva on my forehead and across all the important parts of my body. And with the exercise, you light this candle. I have candles that are very thin, and they're like beeswax candles, like dip, and so they last less time than the manufactured ones. And those, you know, you light it, you set your intention that you're going to be talking to, you know, your ancestors. And once you light it. I believe the instructions, I might be wrong, but this is how I did it the times that I have done it, is that you cover one eye with a palm with your hand, and then the other eye you put your obsidian over, and you get close enough to the flame to be able to see it through the obsidian. And for me, that was pretty close to where, like, if I wanted to speak out loud, I had to like whisper, because if I spoke too loudly, then the flame would move, and I didn't want the flame to move too much, you know. I didn't want to affect the candle. So I would just whisper out loud what I wanted to say. And it does get tiring, like you feel yourself draining. But the times that I have done it, you know, I haven't heard voices or anything, but my dreams after are very intentional. They relate to whatever I was talking about during the ceremony. And yeah, you just make sure whenever you're done, you're tired. Maybe you don't want to wait for the candle to burn out. You turn it off with a flower. Our teacher suggested like a live yellow flower, and I picked the sunflower out of my yard, and that's what I used to turn off my candle. But you can't stay, you know, the whole way through till your candle burns out. An hour and a half. I haven't really done that, so I can't speak about it. But yeah, just make sure you close all the directions and you say thank you to everybody whenever you're done with the exercise. And I mean, I've had great results from doing this. My dreams are a lot more direct and communication is easier. But yeah, I think that's all I have to share. Thank you. Mati.
Tlazokamati, no need Pilar. That was a really great explanation. So basically, for this exercise, ideally, you want to work in a closed space. The way a lot of the elders do this exercise is actually in a cave, right? And it's done at night. The reason why it's done at night is because we're going to be working on opening up a lot of our sensors, right? A lot of the things that we don't truly use are going to be awakened with this type of ceremony and exercise. So the idea is for you to be in a dark place, no wind, basically, you know, fairly relaxing. You want to go ahead and empower your candles, right? And how do you do that? So this is basically the type of candle that the Temachtilistli uses. He sent me a few. If some of you guys would like to have some for this exercise, I don't have a problem sending you guys some. You send me a message and I'll need your address, of course. But essentially, what you're trying to do is you're trying to do this, okay? This little this little thing with your hands, right? Put them together. You will notice two little holes right there. One of the holes is gonna be for the candle. The other one is basically gonna be for you to blow on it, right? So for our ancestors, the wind has a lot of meaning, right? It's life. It represents life. So you're basically empowering the candle with your essence, with your life, right? And essentially what you're going to be doing is you're going to be able to light up this candle and you're going to try and read it. The way that you're going to try and read it is by basically doing this. You want to grab a piece of obsidian, right? And I'm gonna do the exercise again, and I'm gonna go ahead and use this one, right? And essentially what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be covering one of my eyes, right? And with the other one, I'm gonna try and look at the candle, the light, the fire, and essentially just do my exercise, right? Do my ceremony. Try to stay as focused as you can on the candle for as long as you can, right? These type of candles will last about an hour to an hour and a half or so. So that's essentially helping you plan how your ceremony is going to go, and essentially what you want to do during it, whether you want to be meditating, exercising. But at the end of the day, you want to concentrate as much as you can on the fire of the candle, right? Uh, and then you want to go ahead and change. You want to go ahead and do it with your right. Same concept, right? And do that, and essentially concentrate as much as you can on your prayer, on your plegaria. Uh, Try to silence the mind. Try to silence the ego. The ego is gonna try and attack you, asking you why you're doing such things. You're smarter than this, right? You know better. I don't know. You watched a lot of documentaries or you read a lot of books. The ego gets in the way, and you want to make sure that you can quiet it down as much as you can. Uh, on this exercise, we're basically are gonna be working on our hearing, our visual, right? We wanna go ahead and try and hear as much as we can. The exercise is done at night, so some weird things might happen. If that happens, it's normal, expected. Things will happen, especially in your dreams. You guys will start noticing things change, and that's essentially what this exercise is meant to do, for you to awaken those senses and be able to connect with your ancestors, who you have to try and incorporate as much as you can in this exercise. Another person that you, or another energy that you would want to incorporate into this is Mictleguasiwat, which is basically the entity, if you want to use the word entity to describe him, is the entity that essentially controls the gates of Mictlan. It is basically the king of the realm, if you want to call it that, right? So you want to go ahead and bring him into the plegaria as well, if you can, and respectfully and with a lot of humility, ask for permission for him to allow for your ancestors to be able to help you. And when you do this exercise, after you do the exercise, uh, you do want to essentially think of a reason why um, you want to talk to a particular ancestors, right? What type of help you're seeking from them, whether it's knowledge, whether it's healing, right? They can help you heal. Some of our ancestors had a lot of knowledge when it came to plants, medicine, that we might, benefit a lot from. So that's essentially what we're trying to do. There's a lot of different stories on basically how dreams help our ancestors in multiple different things. Some even mention that the pyramids came out of dreams, right? So there's a lot of things that we can encounter and learn from in our dreams. And who are we going to be working with in this exercise? There's number 8, the Sinakat, right? That's the bat. That's basically what it translates to. And Sinakat is also the sacred carrizo, the sacred bamboo, which is a representation of Quetzalcoatl, right? So this is essentially helping us get in touch with our more ethereal self, with our duality in a lot of different ways. Uh, that's what I wanted to say. Tlazo Kamatimiek. Anything?
Plaza Kamati, everybody with all their insight, and I mean, I'm learning alongside everybody here. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything else to add? I thought it was cool, the origin story or one of the tales about the bat that we learned of how it was derived. It was derived by one of the sacred energies, one of the regions, and it came into the picture, right, and actually helped women be fertile and produce other children in the world. So that just came to mind when you mentioned the bat.
There's a lot of stories behind the bat. I mean, it was held as a sacred animal by our ancestors. Here in this image, we can see on the right a bat, basically dressed in all four colors, right? Representing multiple different things: yellow, red, white, and black. We're basically, if we take back our way of thinking, our Western way of thinking, and look at these images, they resemble something horrific, right? But if we start analyzing these in a different way, right? Well, we've never seen a bat actually, decapitate somebody. So we have to understand that it has a deeper meaning than that, right? And that's basically what this is. It's essentially explaining to us how we're gonna be able to go inside, to be able to connect with our inner self, with our inner bat, with our inner Quetzalcoatl, and find a balance that everybody's looking for, that we should strive to find, right?
And it's also crucial for us to kind of get the picture, because this is not blood that's coming out of the neck of this individual, but rather the energy, right? Because we are energy. So this is your internal energy being exposed and allowing you to connect to Miklampa. And so that's why it's important for you to harmonize with your ego before anything, right? Because your ego, as we learn in Tzipatli, it is the part of you that can traverse in Miklampa. It is the part of you that has the capability to take us to that place. And so just wanted to add that.
And that's why it's important to come into these teachings with an open mind, right? We have a lot of unlearning to do, especially when it comes to deciphering the meanings behind some of the images, right? Just to have new perspectives, new way of looking at it, and not seeing it as so appalling or, just
Gruesome.
Yeah, gruesome. There's beauty, right? There's a beautiful message and eloquence behind all the drawings.
It may not be whitewashed or Europeanized, well, not even Europeanized, more like Americanized with censorship and things like that, because that's essentially what they wanted. But it is factual, it is truthful. And so one thing that our Temachtiani asks of us is to bring your truth or your faith into your own personal path. And what that's going to allow you to do is to finally set free yourself to be able to not just perform these exercises, but to navigate this life freely without the constructs of Western society putting any weight on you and preventing you from achieving that which is what you want to achieve. And so obviously these things cannot be done on your behalf, right? So you're going to need to put in the work to get the outcomes and the results that you are wanting. And along the way, you can share your experiences with us, and you will then enlighten or even light a path or become that beaming light of guidance for others who are in that initial step of trying to understand what it is they are and where they come from. And so yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to say.
I mean, yeah, this is definitely a journey of self-discovery, right? Figuring out who you are, most importantly, what your path is, right? Everyone has their unique perspective and insight, right? And it's important to be reminded constantly, especially in the world that we live in, that's very disheartening, very negative, a lot of the time. But it's important to be reminded constantly that we have the tools, right, within us. We have the capability and the strength. We just have to kind of foster it a little bit, build up on it, right? Build upon it, and just walk this path, right, with a lot of um, desire for growth, empowerment, right? And so as it states right here, right, we can't do it on your behalf. We can't do the work for you. Everybody has to, in their own way, in their own time, kind of guide themselves, right? We talked a little bit about that in the first few sacred energies or tonals that we discussed of um you have the capability to guide yourself, right? To lead yourself into the direction that you want to go. And the reason it's important to share the experience is because there's knowledge and information, right? In each of our experiences. We might not understand everybody's experience, right? But we can learn from it. There's lessons and things that can foster growth, right, in an individual. And it's also kind of solidifying that we are all meant to be collaborative, right? We're meant to kind of provide help, provide support and encouragement to one another. We are a communicative, I don't know if that's a word.
Community-based.
Thank you. Sorry, long week. But yes, we are a community-based people, right? We're meant to collaborate and interact with others, and most importantly, learn from one another. Sister Pilar?
I guess I what I think about when I hear this, or when I talk about this kind of stuff, um there's this view that I have because of the way that I was raised, in the religion that I was raised, where, like, I see uh how my life, or how, my mother's life is still currently divided. Like, she has her home life, and then she has her religious life, and it's like, it's not congruent. And I used to be a part of that. I used to be involved like that in the church, and it was like, oh, we're all family, we're all together with each other, but only when we're doing religious stuff. If you're having problems outside of that, you take care of yourself and you deal with it. And when I started reading up about, how indigenous people across the world live their lives, the big thing was that, their life is their religion. Like, every moment that they breathe, every moment that they exist, they incorporate their belief system into it. And that really, in all the lessons, it it reminds us that it's not just about doing the exercises once and then having the experience. It's about incorporating all of it into our daily life, of, like, being in the here and now, of um, directing yourself in whatever you want to do, and completing the objectives that you want to get done. There was this division inside of me before, of this conflict. I guess it was my ego. I guess it was this person, this mask that I had created. And I don't have that anymore. And things are a lot easier. Things are a lot more enjoyable. Even bad things. Even bad things are more enjoyable now because I am one. You know, like I am unified in my belief, in my religion, in my decision to no longer just think about the consequences of things, which is like, I don't know, I guess it's because of the Christianity aspect that I was raised in, of like, oh, you're gonna go to hell, you're gonna go to hell, you're gonna go to hell. Like all this shit is happening and you're gonna be bad, and that's gonna be your consequence. And so now it's like, this is happening because it had to happen, and the only thing I can control is how I'm going to react to it. And I feel pretty chill about it, you know? Like I'm good. Like I have a house, I have a roof over my head, I ate today, I drank water. So many people don't even have that, don't even have clean water. Me salió una cana, and I'm over here like, I don't give a fuck. Like some people don't even get to my age, you know? Like I am so grateful to be here. Like why do people care about this stuff? Or why were we indoctrinated to care about this stuff? Like I feel so relieved now. Like I don't feel like I suffer, you know? Like sometimes the moments that still get to me, where I still like get triggered into this like fight or flight mode, is when I feel like I'm being made fun of, like I'm the butt of somebody's joke. Like I'm still working on it. It's still something that I struggle with, um, but it's because of the way that I was raised, you know? And so I'm trying to learn how to take things lighter, you know, because of the way that my life has developed. I ended up with somebody who thinks everything is a joke. So that's even worse. This is my life, and he's here to teach me that, you know, and I've accepted it, and I have to be okay with it. You know, I accept what I want, and I want this life that I have with my significant other. And you know, we both help each other. Like I take things way too seriously, and life gave me a person who takes nothing seriously, so everything just works out, you know. And you know, that is the Nagdilisli that I have, which is like I I'm just here living it. Just gotta enjoy it as it happens. You only get one chance. You know, you only get this one life to experience this moment. I'll never go back 5 minutes before this, you know. I'll never have that time again. And I'm grateful for everything that I have and everything that I don't, because I know that if I had stuff that I maybe I want, you know, maybe I just couldn't handle it, you know, like that's the only reason I don't have it, because I couldn't have handled this kind of situation 5 years ago. I would have been going out of my mind, you know, and now I have this and I'm grateful for it. And maybe in the future I'll have something else and I'll be grateful for it then too. You know, like that's the only way that I have learned to live now. It's just to be grateful in what I have. And yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'm done word vomiting all over this class now. Thank you.
Silly.
Anything, TechPad?
I think it's your turn now.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Oh, my turn.
I went
Okay.
before Pilar. Yeah. It's all you now.
Nice. Well, you guys took all the words, as you guys say.
Yeah.
So,
Crazy.
I mean, out of this, it's quite simple and to the point, I think. I cannot do these things on your behalf. Nobody's going to be able to explain or put in writing what you might experience and explain it to you. You have to do it for yourself, right? So these exercises are basically that. If you do them, you will find that something happened to you, something changed, something interesting happened or developed, or nothing might, right? But the only way that you will find out is by doing the exercise yourself. Nobody else can do it for you. Uh, so that's basically what that means. Your Neltilistli is that your own personal truth, right? And that truth is developed by your experiences. So you don't know what this holds unless you actually do it. Uh, at the same time, I do wanna caution that this is uh, nothing to be messing with, right? This is a ceremony on which we're asking for portals to open up for us to be able to experience things. And by asking that, we gotta understand we might see things that we might not consider beautiful, right? And we gotta be able to be open to that as well, right? Because a lot of things that might look extremely ugly doesn't necessarily mean that they are, right? So we cannot judge things by how they look. At the same time, we also have to be careful, right? That we do not do things that we shouldn't in that realm. It's also a dangerous place. You can get in trouble. I'll share quickly something that happened to me. And these touches with the squintlies. That's why I wanted to. That's why I mentioned earlier the squintly is a real thing. I took over my dream about 6 months ago, and I got to this place that was basically a really dark place, and it was a lake, and it had little islands, right? And one of the exercises that we were doing at the time had to do with me having enough white stones to where I would be able to build a path to be able to come back. And I didn't have those stones with me, but I wanted to go on the path. Uh, Luckily, my dog thought otherwise and didn't let me go in the dream, right? My dog was with me in the dream, and anytime I would try to jump into one of those little islands so that I could go in this path to try and figure out what was there, um, it didn't let me because I didn't have the tools to come back. So a lot of these things are extremely real, and you gotta also protect yourself to be able to do them, uh, but do them with caution and do them with a lot of humility and respect. So that's what I would also say about these exercises. They're not to be, seeking bad things because the bad thing might come back to you and hit you in the face, right? Uh, so yeah, that's what I would say. Anyone else that may want to share anything else there?
Yes, I wanted to add the importance of protection because I have experienced some of that uh, energy sucking sensation that completely drains you and just leaves you with no energy for the rest of the day. And I tell you, if I only experienced that during an exercise that was small and simple, then I could just imagine something as big as trying to traverse Mictlan, right? And so um, I do I do advise to do the protections that are required, and we've given examples in previous classes. So if you're watching the YouTube videos, you can go through them and get some examples. Copal is a good way. Garlic. Um, you're gonna need to do the forehead. Well, with garlic or saliva, you're gonna need to put on your forehead, at the top of your head where the 4 plates or the 3 plates of your skull connect. At the back of your head, your navel or your where your umbilical cord is, your genitalia as well, and your lips. Under the fingernails to make sure that you're protecting yourself. And with saliva, you want to do the forehead, the top of the head, the back of the head, the navel, and the genitalia to protect your where your energy can traverse and go out. And so, tobacco, you burn or you light a cigarette. It could even be the commercial ones that you buy from the corner store. You light them up and let them burn, similar to what you would do with copal, and allow that tobacco to protect you. And yes, Brother Tlani said, be very cautious. This is not something to play with. This is not, one of those middle school things where you get the Ouija board and you start messing around with it. There are actual consequences to not taking this serious and taking this lightly. Some of the consequences can be that you may be lost and you may not return, right? You are not going to be 100% fully cognitive of the space and the environment in the physical realm because you decided to, not follow some of the guidelines to protect yourself. And so this is the reason why this is the 6th step, right? It's important for us to harmonize with ourselves. If we fail to harmonize with ourselves, the results are not going to be as impactful as you may want them to be or as they should be, or you may not even get results at all. And so make sure that we are aware of who we are, our emotions, make sure we are able to shut down our mind, our thoughts, our ego, and, like in Sipakli, sit, be quiet, and learn. And that's all that you are being asked to do. If that is too much of a task, then, take baby steps by going to your sacred space and just practice there, get permission from the environment for you to sit there and learn from it, but truly work on quieting the mind, quieting your inner self, that inner voice, and you should be able to get some really effective results out of these exercises. And so I know that majority of the people already left. I had a Q&A slide.
Well, Sixon is still trying to join us. He's having issues with the app, so he's trying to join. But yes, we can open it up to any comments, questions from any of us. Just while we can give them some time to try to join again.
So let me share an exercise I do when I try to do the Mictlan or activate Mictlan. I basically the way that I try to sleep is gonna be by basically just resting with my arms like this. It might look really weird and scary for some people, but essentially this position helps on triggering some of these dreams, right? If you recapitulate before going to sleep, recapitulate the day. Basically, go through your entire day as much as you can. All of the things that you did during the day, as much as you can. That will help on making sure that your mind is better rested, at ease, and maybe allows for you to have a more energy to be able to achieve this state. Noinixin, any questions that you might have for us?
I thought it was asking our brother.
No, I know you wanted to say something.
I didn't have anything.
You were saying
No
something.
anything, Pancho Villa? He might be having some issues here.
Yeah, I'm having some issues. So there's like a good part of it that cut off. It just barely let me back in. So, um, what's it called? I think I want to like probably go over like the whole thing. But and I don't ask you to like go over the whole thing. What I'm just saying, like maybe on the recording I could go over it. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to listen carefully and when I learn things that kind of like with ADD, so it's just kind of like on different. I'm on different rhythm from everybody else. You know what I mean? So I have to like replay things a little bit better and then process some of these and apply some of them. You know what I mean?
Makes sense. We can always address those questions in the chat also,
Oh,
that you might have
I
or they might come up.
appreciate it. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Okay,
Gracias,
91, I
Kamate.
think
Muchas gracias.
that'll do it then, unless anybody wants to add anything else.
Go ahead,
think-
Sister Pilar.
Yeah, I think that I might have missed it where the Masheni talks about like basically cleaning your obsidian. Do you remember where he talked about that? Because like I've carried my obsidian around with me. I don't feel anything weird about it, but I don't know if I still need to clean it or if somebody gets a new piece, that way that's included in this video. So we can talk about it.
So for the obsidian, different things that you might have, right? It might be a necklace, it might be something else. Depending on what it is and what you're trying to do, you want to bury it and you want to cleanse it. The Mother Earth is going to basically clean it. For this exercise, I believe he was talking about burying your obsidian for about 3 days. I try to bury my obsidian as soon as I get it all the time, just because I try to just have it clean from anything that it was carrying prior to it getting to me. And then I start using it. And the thought of it is that the obsidian absorbs so much energy that it could have absorbed the energy of the person selling the piece to you, the person that made the piece, or something to that effect, right? So that's the reason why you want to clean the energy off of it and start fresh and be able to make that connection where it basically has your energy and only your energy. And that is one of the things that in our this exercise, we can use, right? So if you have like a necklace, an obsidian necklace, I have this necklace that the Temachtilistli gifted to me. He has the coyote little tumor that is made. This is basically for protection, right? So basically what I would do is I would, as part of the ceremony, take this off and put it in the jikara, right? And why am I doing that? Is because it's going to be representing my energy. It basically has my essence on it already. So that's the idea behind cleansing your stuff prior to using it. And this is something that can be done with anything, right? Anything holds to a degree some energy, but obsidian holds it a little more.
Thank you. I'm gonna.
I think I need some Pilar froze also. We're having some technical issues also. Okay, any other questions or comments anybody else might have?
I just want to add that this was a great topic, great conversation. I think at this time everybody is either freezing or having technical difficulties. So we can just kind of at least we have the recordings, right? So that's the comforting part, is at least the recording is there for revisiting. As always, if things do arise, questions, comments, we encourage it in the group, right? Relay your questions to us, your experiences, how the exercises go. Just as has been noted several moments or several times in the teachings tonight, just be careful, protect yourself, be responsible while embarking on these exercises. But, you know, I think all of us are excited to just grow, right? Grow in our application of these lessons and teachings that go with it. I don't really have anything much to add. I don't know if anybody else has any kind of summarized remarks or things they want to add before we kind of call it a night.
Yeah. When are the days that these practices should be done, especially like this dream exercise, right? I know there's specific days like Tuesdays or Fridays. I think Temachtilistli was saying that those are the best days to do it.
Tuesday or Fridays would be ideal. However, is not set in stone. If a Saturday works for you because of your schedule, you can do it on a Saturday. At the end of the day, you want to get it done. You want to do the exercise. Uh, you might not have cempasúchil flowers, right? You can use any type of flower. If you can use a yellow flower, that would be ideal. So some of these things are not essential to you to do the exercise, uh, but it would be obviously best to have them, right? Uh, but yeah, Tuesday or Friday would be ideal to do, just because of the energy.
Plaza Kamati.
No, need
Makes
to add
sense.
anything else?
Yeah, I feel like the Tuesdays or Fridays thing, I guess it makes sense, but also like that's not the calendar that we follow, like it could be any day. I feel like it could be any day. I mean, I've done it on any day and it's pretty much the same on the Tuesdays and Fridays and not Tuesdays and Fridays. So I think it's just the intention more so than the objects or the day, because time is also not, it's relative or whatever.
I would say that the thing that does kind of matter would be to try and do it at night, just because of the silence. It helps you. There's things that happen at night that allow for you to concentrate better. There's a lot of sounds, sometimes a lot of crickets, a lot of things that they kind of immerse your mind in a different state. So I think that that would be one thing that I would try to do. I would try to do the exercise at night, although it can also be done during the day, like Noetzin Pilar said, right? Nothing is set in stone. But this is basically uh, what would be ideal, right? And I think that with that, unless you guys have any other comments or questions, we might be able to say Timostaisque Mitlampa.
Timoitasque Miklampa, Timoitasque Mosl. Tlapoya Waltinakniwan. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, let's put this exercise to work, and I'm excited and eager to hear the results of some of you guys and girls and women and men.
Well, I think it was a really good time that we spent here talking about this. It's extremely interesting, and I think that we should go to sleep a little bit more
I think it
excited
cut
tonight.
out. I don't know anybody else's connection, but I feel like I can't hear anybody.
Okay, I
Good
think
night,
that we're not
brother.
having the best connection anymore. All right, Niguan, I think we'll call it a night. Timoitaske Mostla, Timoitaske Miklampa. Plaza Kamati Miak.
Timoitaske Miklampa.
Let's give me fun. See you guys around.